So today we're going to talk about managing PE deal flow inside of Salesforce Financial Services Cloud. I'm in Salesforce right now. I'm on my homepage. And the first thing that you're going to notice is that we've got all of our key metrics surfaced up right here on the homepage so that I can have insight into everything that's happening with my pipeline and with my deal flow overall. We've got insight into what transactions we've closed already this quarter, how many deals we have at each stage in our pipeline. So what's in teaser, what's in NDA complete, management presentation, all the way down through to closing, as well as breaking down our pipeline by investment type and industry. On my right-hand side, I've also got access to any of the key information that I need to manage my day. So what meetings do I have today? I've got a monthly checkpoint with Olivia over at Redline Advisory. I'm also meeting with Harrison and Company and Laura for our monthly check-in. And I've got some tasks that have been assigned to me that I'm working through to get through completed for today. I can also scroll down and see all of my key deals that I'm working on. So anything that I've recently examined in terms of opening the file and accessing it, I've got that all available to me at the click of a button, and I can drill into each of these deals and get more information. And I've also got just a quick look at all of the intermediaries that I work with personally. So I've got Blue Oak, Evercore, and Harrison, any of the key firms that I'm engaged with, so that I can access those records as well without having to click in multiple different places. And all of these list views and these different components are configurable by role. So depending on where someone sits in the organization, the things that they need access to can be configured and brought up to make sure that they're able to be as efficient as possible. Now that we've taken a look at our homepage, we're actually going to get into the process of managing a deal from start to finish. This includes having the initial teaser email come in to our inbox, how we review, access that, and actually get this into Salesforce, and then ultimately how we manage the deal. So I'm going to pop over to my inbox, and I can see that I've received an email about Project Mesa. So this teaser email has come in from Evercore. It's got some key information about the deal. We don't know who the company is yet, but we've got some key information about it, and we're going to go ahead and log this into Salesforce. So I can see that it's already suggesting, because we have Alex Roth at Evercore in our system, suggesting that we log this to Alex. He's the one that sent that email over. So I can do that. And I can also link it to a Project Mesa opportunity, which has already been created in Salesforce. If that deal was not created, I can actually just quickly create one by clicking on my drop down and selecting new deal. And within 2 clicks, I can get that into our pipeline so we can start working on it. I'm going to go ahead and log this, and this email with all of the information will now be attached to the deal, and we can pop back over into Salesforce and start working it. So I'm going to hop into the Project Mesa deal. There's the email that Alex had sent, which we had logged from our email client right into Salesforce. So that's available in our activity history. And the first thing that we'll notice is that we've got all of our different stages to manage this deal right across the top. So as we continue to progress through managing this deal, we'll get more and more information and start to build this deal out in terms of the information that we're able to track at different stages. For now, I've got general deal information across the top. So we know this is Project Mesa. Again, we don't know who that target company is yet. We'll get that information. For now, it's linked to Evercore as our intermediary. And we're also tagging Evercore as the deal source and Alex as deal source contact. So the individual that actually brought this forward to us. And then eventually we'll link this to the target company. So we know what stage we're at. We know what type of investment it is. And we've got all of our information about the deal that came in from that original teaser email. As we continue to move forward through our stages, let's pop over and get our NDA complete. So now that we're getting a bit more information, we've got the NDA signed, we actually know that this is related to a company called Wiz. So I'm going to go ahead and link this deal to Wiz, and we'll have information about the company here in Salesforce as well. And the deal source still remains with Evercore because we want to maintain that relationship with how it came to us and the fact that this was intermediated by Evercore. So that relationship still exists, but we are able now to tag this deal specifically to Wiz. So as we move forward, there's a couple of key things that are going to be happening from a collaboration perspective. When I went into NDA Complete, I've automatically created a Slack channel in our Slack for our team to collaborate on and really swarm and make sure that we're all moving towards the aggressive timelines that we have to eventually get through the management presentation and getting that IOI submitted. So I'm going to hop over to Slack. I can see that our channel has been created for Project Mesa automatically. I've got the key information from the description of that deal embedded in here, and I'm already starting to get the team rallied to make sure that they know what they need to do to keep this deal moving forward. So I already tagged a member of the team here. And now that we've got the NDA signed, just going to post another message here. And again, everyone is alerted, everyone is rowing in the same direction, and everyone is really up to date on everything that's happening with this specific deal. And as stages progress, we'll have messages automatically populated into the Slack channel from Salesforce so that everybody is aware. In addition, there's full integration between Slack and Salesforce. So accessing the actual deal right from Slack is very easy as well. So we're just going to search for Project Mesa, and without actually having to hop back into Salesforce, I can get all of the information about that specific deal right here in Slack, as well as any conversations that have taken place on the Slack channels, as well as any of the activity that was logged against that opportunity, any tasks, etc. So there's, for example, the email that had popped in originally. We can actually see that. So the full team has access to all of the information in one place without having to hop around. And it really helps with keeping everyone on the same page and making sure that the deal is progressing the way it should. I'm going to hop back over to Salesforce. And now that we've got our NDA signed and we know that we're dealing with Wiz, we want to start preparing for the subsequent stages of our deal and making sure that we've got all of our research done so that we can start formulating our assessment on all things related to Wiz. So we're actually going to hop into Agentforce now and have the AI do some account research for us. So we're going to find out everything that we know about information that's already in Salesforce about Wiz, as well as everything that's publicly available. So I'm just going to ask, what can you tell me about Wiz? So I've got my company overview. I understand a bit more about their core business, how they're positioned, what their offerings are. But what I really want to understand is a bit more about their funding history and any kind of investor transactions that have taken place. So I'll ask Agentforce to give me more information about their funding history. And it's already going to go ahead and suggest a few more additional follow-on questions. So let's just summarize their funding history. And from there, we're just going to want to list out what specific firms have been involved in some of these transactions. Great. So we see that they are backed by several prominent investors and they're listed out here. So this really helps, again, just understand a bit more about the financial makeup of the organization, how stable things are, but also, hey, do we have any conflicts? Because that's going to be very important from managing our deal flow perspective. So I've got all my information that I need from Agentforce. I'm going to hop back in and continue to manage this deal. So as we continue to advance, again, we're tagged to Wiz here. We've done all of our research. Let's just progress and get through, and we've submitted our IOI. And as we're doing that, again, we're getting more and more information and building out our deal. So for example, who are all the counterparties that are going to be involved? We're going to want to understand from an external perspective, what firms or individuals are involved in influencing this deal. Who do we have to be in contact with or be aware of? So we can see that Laura Bennett is providing QOE. Redline Advisory as an organization is just providing overall audit on the deal. And Michael Chen is doing commercial due diligence. And if we want to add more counterparties, we're able to do that here. We can add either individuals or we can add companies. And then later when we get into funding, we can actually add funding sources here as well. And as we do that, we can provide links to whoever the specific company is and what role or roles they're playing in managing this deal. Similarly, on the internal side of things for our team, we're going to want to be aware of who the deal team is internally. So we've got Mitch, Jeff, and Greg listed on this particular deal. Mitch is our deal lead. We've got Jeff as our analyst and Greg as our managing partner. And then similarly, if we need to expand the team, we can add additional individuals here with the specific role that they're playing on this particular deal. And this helps us not only understand deal coverage internally, but also helps us drive any necessary permissions if we have restrictions on which deals different folks are able to access. As an example, if there are private deals or things that are cross-sector that we don't necessarily want to share across the organization based on the policies and the access rules that the firm has. As we advance to due diligence, you'll notice that a task has automatically been created because we want to kick off our due diligence process. So we've got an action plan in place, which is essentially a series of templated tasks that automatically get assigned as we move into the due diligence stage. And this could be part of really any stage, but it's really to show any of the additional processes and management that we want to make sure is linked to the specific deal and assigned out so that we're staying on track and making sure that things are progressing as they should. So I can see here, I've got my Project Mesa due diligence plan set up. I know that there's going to be the kickoff, which is happening tomorrow. And then we're going to move into legal review, finance review, and operational review. And these due dates and assignments will be automatic based on specific rules that we have. So I've gone and completed the kickoff just to illustrate that once that happens, we can automatically move into creating things like finance review and operations review and just continue to move the process forward. These tasks can be assigned automatically to individuals that are associated with the deal. So as an example, a certain member of the deal team or to departments within the firm that are responsible. So our finance review is being assigned out to the finance team, operations to the operations team, legal can go to legal, and that could be internal, external, etc. So we've got all of that done. And then ultimately, as we continue to move through to IC approval and ultimately closing, we can manage that deal from start to finish. We're going to close this one out. And then as we wrap everything up, we'll have the remaining information associated with the deal, specifically around our financial snapshots and any of the funding to support this deal. So with this one in particular, we've got a series of financing transactions. Plative as a firm is providing equity. We've got Blue Oak providing senior debt, as well as Ares with a contribution there. Northbridge and Bright Ledger are also involved. And all of these financing transactions will roll into the ultimate kind of financial snapshot that we have here. We're able to roll up any of the equity transactions, for example, any of the senior debt, see that here. And these are, again, helpful ways to really understand the deal from a finance perspective and help us understand as we report and roll up all of this information, just exactly what the stake is across the board. Last thing we'll show now that we have this transaction closed out is just going to pop back over to Wiz as a company. Again, all of the information that we have about them, things that we've learned through the deal, all of the various roll-ups, etc., will come in to see it from a company perspective. So all of their financials, any past deals, etc., that they've been part of. We've got all of this information listed out here, as you would expect, all of the contacts, what roles they play within the company. And then the last thing is just from a board and governance perspective. So now that this transaction is closed out, wanting to understand what the board structure is for this particular company that we're going to be investing in. So who the key players are, both internally and externally from a board perspective, when the next meeting is. And this is typically achieved through integration with a document management system. Like this one here is pointing to Google Drive in terms of where all the board materials are, but this could be Box or SharePoint or really any cloud file management system. And we're able to pull some of that information right in here so that we're able to access it from the company page inside of Salesforce. So last board meeting summary, all of the information there, the board decision log, and just any key takeaways related to recent board meetings and board decisions, so that everyone that is affiliated in the firm here with Wiz or with any of the deals has access to all of the key information at all times. So to recap, we've looked at our overall dashboard and homepage here in Salesforce to help us stay on top of all of our key metrics and manage our day. We went through an end-to-end deal flow for Project Mesa, from teaser email coming in to that deal getting created and managing it all the way through to closing. We've talked about and shown our agent force research. So all of the information related to the company Wiz, where we were investigating company background, past investors, and accessing all of that agent force research to help advance our deal. We showed our Slack channel integration, where the Slack channel is automatically created as the deal NDA was completed, and the team is able to collaborate in Slack, keep things moving, and also access key information from Salesforce on the deal directly from Slack and update that information as well. And then ultimately back to closing things out, where we're able to understand all of the financial transaction components of the deal, how they roll up into the various components, and then being able to see things just from a company perspective for Company Wiz, all of the financials, all of the key metrics for the company, and post-transaction tracking kind of board structure and board information.